With all the hype surrounding The Batman, I highly recommend you watch Good Time, starring Robert Pattinson. Great film. I'm making this video about the comic keys of the villains featured in the movie. We're going to begin with Catwoman. She makes her comic book debut back in 1940 in Batman #1 as the Cat, Selina Kyle. In the following issue, Batman #2, she's called Catwoman for the first time. And in #3, she's in costume. Detective Comics 122 from 1947 is her first cover. And her first cover appearance in the Batman run is Batman 42 from 1947. Here's the Stanley Art Germ cover tribute. And her origin is told in Batman 62 in 1950. Catwoman Returns should have been the title for the solo Catwoman movie, starring Michelle Pfeiffer as planned back in 1993, instead of Halle Berry's 2004 bomb. She makes her first Silver Age appearance in Lois Lane #70 from 1958. There's a rare Mexican variant. Batman 210 from 1969, she first dons this pirate suit that Mego referenced when making figures of her in the 70s. Batman 266 from 1975, they give her back her old costume. And with this supervillain's Secret Origins collector's edition that's oversized from 1976, we get her origin retold. In Batman 332 from 1981, Catwoman gets her first solo story. Batman 404 Year 1 Part 1 from 1987, we get the first modern Catwoman. With this Catwoman 1 through 4 mini-series from 1989, Selina Kyle gets her origin told. Feels like that alleyway scene from Batman Returns where Catwoman scratches up that guy's face. That looks pretty classic. And I love this cover. Her eyes look really great. Here is Catwoman #1 from 1993. She finally gets her own title. And her origin is told in this series in Catwoman 0, 1994. Here's the infamous Adam Hughes cover, Catwoman 51 from 2006. And now on to the Penguin, one of my favorites. It's Colin Farrell, looking pretty comic accurate. Movie promises to be very noir. That's vintage black and white gangster, people in suits and guns drawn, and Peter Gunn series from 1959 is very noir. Penguin's first mentioned in Batman #4 from 1941. He owns a club. His very first appearance is Detective 58 from 1941. This would be the prized appearance. This is a small panel from the interior comparison. He gets his first cover in Detective 67 in 1942, and his first cover appearance in the Batman run is 14 in 1942. It's later swiped for the Catwoman cover for Bat 42. He makes his first Silver Age appearance in 155 in 1963. Here's a really rare Mexican Navarro variant. Penguin gets his new look in Batman 169 in 1965. It's the last time this logo was used. Now on to the Riddler. Edward Nashton makes his first comic book debut in Detective Comics 140 in 1948. It's the only comic where he's actually called Nashton, which he'll be called that in The Batman. I highly recommend watching Zodiac. In his second appearance and only other Golden Age appearance and cover in Detective 142, he's first called Edward Nigma. Here are some of the panels. They actually reference him on the splash page as being called Enigma in his first debut appearance, but he wasn't. And this looks like Riddler's coffee in that trailer. And this rainbow panel inspired the 1966 Topps painted art Blue Bat 3rd Series Last Card. He makes his first Silver Age appearance in Batman 171 in 1965. The story loosely inspires the first episode featuring Frank Ocean as the Riddler. Here's a really rare Arabic variant. Here's a second Silver Age comic appearance in Batman number 179 in 1966. And this art was used as stock from Carmine Infantino and plastered on moldable toys like the Pixie-Go-Go and the electronic quiz game. Detective 377 from 1968. We see the classic, most famous image Carmine Infantino ever drew of Riddler. And this is one of my favorite Riddler covers, Batman 317 from 1979. And finally, Firefly, since they talked about him being in the movie. Detective Comics number 184 from 1952 is Garfield Lynn's first appearance and origin of Firefly. Then we get the second Firefly, Ted Carson, in Batman number 126 in 1959.